Yes, friends, good evening. Welcome to Galaxy Online Learning. I'm Sunil Desai, and today we are going to study the first chapter of your supplementary reader, Footprints Without Food. Okay, so Footprints Without Feet, the 10th CBSE English supplementary reader. Okay, we are going to study the first lesson today, A Triumph of Surgery. So first I'm going to read the story for you. It is a beautiful story. It's about a small dog whose name is Tricky, who has been pampered a lot by his rich mistress, and he becomes very fat. He's a greedy dog, eats a lot, he's been pampered by his mistress, he eats a lot, and he becomes too fat that he can't move. Okay, and how the veterinary surgeon, how he treats him. Okay, whether the mistress, his mistress says that, feels that he has been done a surgery to make him thin, but does he really make the surgery? How he treats him, that dog. That's what we are going to see in this chapter. Okay, the narrator is a surgeon, the veterinarian. Okay, he is a veterinary surgeon. I was really worried about Tricky this time. I had pulled up my car when I saw him in the street with his mistress, and I was shocked at his appearance. He had become hugely fat, like a bloated sausage with a leg at each corner. His eyes, bloodshot and rheumy, stared straight ahead, and his tongue lolled from his jaws. So the narrator, who is a surgeon, okay, who treats dogs, okay, he says that he was very much worried when he saw Tricky, the little dog, okay, and looking at Tricky, he pulled down his car on the side of the road, and when he saw the Tricky walking on the pavement with his mistress, he was looking like a sausage, okay, like a meatball, a big long sausage with his four legs at the four corners of that sausage. That way, so much fat he had been. His eyes were very red, and some mucus-like wet there from his eyes. A mucus-like wetty liquid was coming out, and he stared straight ahead. He was looking just ahead, and his tongue was just lolling out from the jaws. Everything was become very fat. Mrs. Pumphrey hastened to explain. He was so listless, Mr. Harriot. He seemed to have no energy. I thought he must be suffering from malnutrition, so I have been giving him some little extras between meals to building him up. Some malt and cod liver oil and a bowl of Horlicks at night and make him sleep. Nothing much really. So the way Mr. Harriot is looking at the dog, his mistress, Mistress Pumphrey, she explains that, see, I thought that he's been suffering from malnutrition. I think he's suffering from malnutrition. That's why I am giving him something between meals too. I am giving him mud between meals. Then I give him some extra, like I give him cod liver oil. I'm giving Horlicks every night, so that he should not suffer from malnutrition. She is feeling that he has been suffering from malnutrition, so that he may not suffer, and then he can sleep. Nothing else. I'm doing nothing else. I'm just giving in between meals. I'm giving him all these things. Okay. And Harriet asked her, and did you cut down the sweet things as I told you? He asked Mrs. Pumphrey, Harriet, whether he had told him to cut down sweets, not to give sweets to the dog, Tricky. So he asked her whether she has cut down the sweets. Oh, I did for a bit, means I tried for a bit, but he seemed to be so weak, I had to relent. He does love cream cakes and chocolates, so I can't bear to refuse him. Yes, he said, I tried, but I felt that he's getting weaker without eating sweet thing, and he loves chocolates and cakes. So I just could not relent. So I started giving him those chocolates and cakes. I just can't, mean she loves that dog so much that she just can't say no to that dog. And so she is been giving him. I looked down again at the little dog. It was the trouble. Tricky's only fault was greed. He had never been known to refuse food. He would tackle a meal at any hour of the day or night. And I wondered about all the things Mrs. Pumphrey had not mentioned. Mr. Harriet, he looks at the dog and says that now this dog is going to be in trouble because, first of all, the dog himself is a greedy dog. He likes to eat a lot. Any hour of the day you give him food, he is ready to gulp it down. Okay, and that this his mistress, which is a rich person, and she loves the dog so much that she's ready to give him everything, anything what he demands. Okay, so he can eat anything. So now that's going to be the real trouble. And he says that this Mrs. Pumphrey has told him what she's giving, but she must have not mentioned many other things which she must be giving him. Okay, she has told me a few things what she's giving him, but she must have not mentioned a lot many things which still she must be giving him. And he asked, are you giving him plenty of exercise? Is he exercising or not? Well, he has little walks with me, as you can see, but Hodgkin, the gardener, has been down with lumbago, so there has been no ring throwing lately. She says, yes, as you see now today, as you're saying, we are going for small strolls, for a small walk, but as a gardener, Mr. Hodgkin is suffering from lumbago. Lumbago means pain in the muscles of the back, okay, lower back, okay, that's lumbago. So he is not able to throw rings at him. So he can't run and catch the rings and bring them back. So that is not been done. Only thing is exercise is that a small straw with me in the evening. I tried to sound severe. Now I really mean this. If you don't cut his food right down and give him more exercise, he is going to be really ill. You must harden your heart and keep him on a very strict diet. Now Mr. Harriet becomes very strict and in a very rude voice he tells her, in a very stern voice, he tells Mrs. Pumphrey that if you don't cut down his diet, okay? If you don't cut down his diet and if you don't give him exercise, you will really make him ill. You will be in trouble. Tricky will be in trouble. Okay? He will become ill. And so you better what you do? You harden your heart. Okay? Don't get soft to him. Don't get soft. You have to harden your heart and have a very, very strict diet for Tricky. Otherwise, Tricky will be in trouble. Miss Pumphrey wrung her hands. Oh, I will, Mr. Harriet. I am sure you are right, but it's so difficult, so very difficult. She set off, head down along the road, as if determined to put the new regime into practice immediately. Mrs. Pumphrey says, yeah, I surely do that. Okay, I surely do, but it's very difficult for me to give him a strict diet. But I'll try my very best. And she bows down her head and moves as if she's really going to follow a very strict diet for Tricky. I watched the progress with growing concern. Tricky was tottering along with his little tweed coat. He had a whole wardrobe of these coats for the cold weather and a raincoat for the wet days. He struggled on, drooping in his harness. I thought it would not be long before I heard from Mrs. Pumphrey. And Mr. Harriet was watching them go. Okay, and what he saw was that the Tricky was just moving slowly at a slow speed. Okay, wearing the beautiful tweed coat which he was wearing, and he had a number of these tweed coats because Mrs. Pumphrey, she had bought a lot many coats for him because it's cold, winter cold over there. So he should feel warm. That's why she had bought coat. Also, she had bought a raincoat for him during the wet days. Okay, so he had plenty of coats and even a raincoat. this and Tricky. It was really difficult for Tricky to walk down the pavement. Okay, he was struggling. The belt, which was been the harness means the belt. He was really been pushed away. Means he was really finding it uncomfortable to walk down the road. And Mr. Harriet thought that now, seeing the condition of Tricky, he knows that Mrs. Pumphrey is going to come back to him one day, very fast, very soon. Okay? He expected, and the expected call came within a few days. Mrs. Pumphrey was distraught. Tricky would eat nothing, refused even his favorite dishes, and besides, he had bouts of vomiting. He spent all his time lying on the rug, panting. Didn't want to go for walks, didn't want to do anything. And as expected by Mr. Harriet, in a few days, Mrs. Pumphrey rings him and tells her she's very distraught, she's in distraught, she's very panicky, and she tells her that Tricky is in trouble, is ill, is not able to, he doesn't want to go out, he's not eating even his favorite dishes, what he used to love, chocolates, cakes, that too is not eating, he's nothing, eating nothing, he's just lying on a rug and panting, okay? He's just spending all that, in fact, in between he had bouts of vomiting also. Okay, so he's in real trouble. He doesn't want to go for walks. He doesn't want to do anything. He's just lying down, sleeping. So Mr. Harriet had already knew that this was going to happen. So he had made his plans in advance. The only way was to get Tricky out of the house for a period. I suggested that he be hospitalized for about a fortnight to be kept under observation. Mr. Harriet had already made a plan for Tricky. He knew the only way he can make Tricky healthy and fit was that if he is been hospitalized. That means he has to come out of the house where he's staying with Mrs. Pumphrey, his rich mistress, because there he has been pampered a lot by his mistress. That's why the condition of Tricky has become like this. So he knew now that it is the right time to take him away. So he tells Mrs. Pumphrey that he needs to be hospitalized. Now that he is ill, he needs to be hospitalized for at least a fortnight so that he can observe him closely. The poor lady almost swooned. Swoon means fainted, was about to faint after hearing this. She was sure he would pine and die if he did not see her every day. She was thinking that Tricky will pine means will feel sad, okay, will feel unhappy and may die if he doesn't see Mrs. Pumphrey every day. Okay. But I took a firm line. Tricky was very ill and this was the only way to save him. In fact, I ought it best to take him without delay, and followed by Mrs. Pumphrey's wedding, I marched out to the car carrying the little dog wrapped in a blanket. So, but Mr. Harriet had made his mind. He said he kept his line firm that yes, he is very ill. What? The Tricky is very ill, and since he is very ill, he has to be hospitalized, otherwise he may die. Okay, so the best thing is to take him with me, and he said it is to be done without delay, immediately. So he covers the dog, the puppy, Tricky, in a blanket, and he marched out to the car. Means he took him along with himself to the car. And Mrs. Pumphrey was wailing, was shouting, was feeling very sorry. Okay, crying. Wailing means crying. The entire staff was roused and maids rushed in and out, bringing his day bed, his night bed, favorite cushions, toys and rubber rings, breakfast bowl, lunch bowl, supper bowl. Realizing that my car would never hold all the stuff, I started to drive away. As I moved off, Mrs. Pumphrey, with a despairing cry, threw an armful of little coats through the window. I looked in the mirror before I turned the corner of the drive. Everybody was in tears. Just as the whole family of the people staying with Mrs. Pumphrey, all the maids, all the staff, seeing that I am carrying Tricky with me. Harriet is saying this, that carrying Tricky with me. The whole house rouseness woke up. The maids started running here and there. They started collecting all his Tricky's day bed, his night bed, then the favorite cushions, toys, rubber rings, the bowl in which he used to have a separate breakfast for bowl for a separate. You would have a separate bowl for breakfast, a separate bowl for lunch, a separate bowl for supper. Okay, so Mr. Harrier realizes that he cannot carry all this stuff. Just imagine how pampered that little dog was. Okay, so immediately he started driving. He sat in the car and started driving away. And as he moved off, he saw in the mirror, and so what he saw was that Mrs. Pumphrey, what she was doing, she was throwing to the window, she was throwing the coats, tweed coats of the dog. Okay, and as he was looking into the mirror, he saw that the whole all the people in the staff, the maids, Mrs. Humphrey, all were crying since Tricky was leaving them and going to the hospital. Out on the road, I glanced down at the pathetic little animal gasping on the seat by my side. I patted the head, and Tricky made a brave effort to wag